Hello, everyone. Today's topic is live service and designing beyond the game. My name is Artem. I work as a product owner at Strikerz. We develop the football simulation online game for consoles. So the topic that we want to cover today with you will be about the live services and the similarities between the products and games. Actually about the entertainment industry, not only about the game. So this is me, and I just want to cover some things up so you know me a little bit better. So I was born in Turkmenistan. It's far on the east, somewhere between the Iran, Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, all these countries. You actually don't know. I believe no one know about the Turkmenistan. So the country is very famous with the white buildings, with the carpets, and the horses, but not famous with the games occasionally. During my career, I worked as a front-end engineer with such companies like MasterCard, McDonald's, Huggies, Merck, Sanofi, Electrolux, Unilever. So we made a bunch of marketing campaigns for these companies, and also some kind of browser games as well for these campaigns. After all, I transitioned to the project and product manager roles. So I was responsible for some kind of integrations of KYC, compliance, AML, retail media, shopper engagement platforms, customizable streaming platforms, football simulators at the moment at Strikerz, and I don't know what I meant to write there, but some comp. I don't know. I also act as a mentor and ambassador at Women in Tech and Women in Games, so it's a kind of important topic for me as well. What else did I do? Before I started my manager career, the life was like very colorful, as you see. So I had a bunch of musical bands and also contributed to the local communities in Minsk. So we made some kind of music festivals, gigs. We had a booking agency called K-Promo. Yeah, that's a little bit of myself. What an agenda. Today we will cover 4 things. First of all, live service considered as gold mine. We try to find out why. Why do we compete, or who do we compete with, sorry. What is entertainment nowadays, and how actually user experiences entertainment. And why should we do that? I mean, why should we consider other products to compete with? So you know that there are a lot of live service games at the moment at the market, and we know that a lot of them actually were released after or before 2019, and we have a lot of historical data that prove that these kind of service games can exist, and it actually can give us some revenue, and we found out the ways how to engage the users through the years, like for example, Fortnite or Apex Legends, the guys like on the market for maybe, I believe, 8 years or something. So, of course, when you see the examples of these products, you want to create some kind of these products as well, because you want to earn some money, for example, and you want to create something that live long through the time. And so do businesses and investors also want to, to have such products in their portfolio. If we look at the numbers, we can also find that some products actually earn huge amounts of money, like for the short periods of time. For example, Marvel Rivals, it was released like 2 or 3 months ago, and it's generated more than 200 million in revenue for NetEase. But some of the titles, like Rainbow Six Siege, like they earned 3.5 billion like since 2016. But this is a huge amount of money. The only problem is that the market is saturated enough and the content surplus is so high that it's just impossible to compete with the other products, especially in terms when we speak about shooters or some kind of these kind of games. But accordingly to GDC annual State of the Game Industry report, like at the moment, 33% of studios are developing live service games, even if we know that the market is saturated. So we want these studios want actually to find their market fit and try to earn this money. But when we talk about the live service products, we actually need to consider other things. When we talk about games, games can be like something like art, expression, or it can be a narrative, a story-based experience. It can be an engineering idea, or maybe something like graphics that can, achieve some kind of results. But when we talk about live service products, we need to cover a lot of things beside the art, narrative, engineering, and graphics. We need to find out the market fit at first, so we need to research the market to find out what segment of players we actually need to focus on. To do that, we can do a lot of A/B tests. So we can find out what actually player love to play or to hate. So we need to cover out what will be the monetization strategy before actual development of the game, because you need to find out how you will sell the game or sell the features of the game and what actually you will be going to be selling. So other things that will, take your mind is live ops and metrics that you need to cover up as well. So developing live service differs from the usual game development. And besides that, you need to find out where and how you can, find out your segment. You need to do a lot of research. If we talk about the market industry, live service industry at the moment, we know that 60% of players actually right now playing games that were released before the 2019. And these games like Fortnite or GTA 5. And the other 16%, they played live service games that were released after 2019. So it's Apex Legends, for example, or Valorant. Another 15% actually play a lot of franchises game. So that's actually annually released, like Call of Duty, Battlefield, or Electronic Arts Football Club. And the last 2.5% of the playtime actually goes to the old single-player releases like Bloodborne or something. So when we talk about the live service market, a lot of the products just try to fight for the 6.5% of playtime that actually player spend to everything else, for the new games, for other products. So let's get back to the topic of users' playtime. When we speak about that, when we speak about playtime, we usually imagine that our players attacked by different games and they need to choose what to take on this evening, but I believe this is not right. What if we don't compete only with the games? Because actually we consider that the game is the entertainment, and usually people try to find out how to entertain themselves in the evening. So if we try to dive deep into the topic of entertainment, we can find out that modern way to entertain yourself is to keep your brain busy with fast content, like TikTok, YouTube, like with Instagram, or other stuff, and occasionally buy something, because this something like hits your dopamine. When you buy something to yourself, you feel yourself like, okay, I'm really pleased with that. So if we try to look wider to our players, so they are not actually trying to find out one option how they can entertain themselves. And I strongly believe that there is no person here, for example, between you, who actually sit in the evening and try to find out what game so you want to play, because you have a lot of stuff going on your phone. Here, at this slide, you can see the types of entertainment that is like old ways of entertainment. It was TV show, it was radio, tabletop games, street games like football or basketball or something, books, movies, music, food. But nowadays, the picture kind of different. Nowadays, the entertainment consists of streaming platforms, also TV, mobile apps, mobile games, online shopping, food delivery, messengers, and social platforms. This is something that entertains ourselves. Just to prove it, but considering the previous slides, when we try to find out what actually player is considering to do in the evening, we can see this kind of picture. It's not only consisting of games, so we see that there are a lot of different type of products that also entertain our user. So it's Netflix, Bolt Food, like Zalando, Amazon, Disney, and all of other stuff. And we actually need to remember that people spend their spare time this kind of picture, not like only with games. And to prove that, you can find the report provided by eMarketer and Epilion, and where we can see that people actually spend a lot of time on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. And research was conducted in United States during the, I believe, 6 years, and we see the trend that users spend a lot of time consuming the content from YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. That is why we need to consider it. But still, why we should look at this segment of market and consider them as competitors? Why do we need to do so? The answer is quite simple. When we try to find similarities between these kind of products, like games, online shopping, food delivery, social platforms, streaming platforms, there are a lot of similarities between the products, because all of these products try to engage the users. We try to make the users come back to us. And finally, we try to convert this user into the check. We need to find the way how they can spend the money inside our products. And considering that, we need to remember that all of this stuff that actually people experience during the usage of these products, they try to, gain some dopamine. They try to be engaged into the experience. And we, using the techniques and features inside these products, we actually try to make a habit for these users so they can return and make a lot of the similar actions. Now let's try to look at some examples and comparison, because I know that a lot of stuff are kind of philosophical and theoretical, and it can be quite funny sometimes. So here is an example of how much similarities we actually have with game and IKEA, for example, because we have a lot of features and a lot of mechanics, a lot of tricks that we use, and we actually didn't invent it ourselves in game industry. We just grab it from the retail or some kind of e-commerce experience. For example, when we talk about the game onboarding, we usually try to implement it some kind of tutorial. But when we look at the IKEA, so we find out that they also have a tutorial itself. They have a store map, they have a clear customer journey, one way, for example. When we talk about the second part of onboarding, so we try to make a first game impression to the user. So we need to find out the way how he would be rewarded and how he feel himself a little bit better in our game. And the same they have in IKEA. They have exhibition hall, where they have first experience of how the products can be used inside the rooms, for example. And they have a cafeteria. It's like a first reward, because cafeteria, there, that they have a lot of meals and they're quite cheap. And they use it very wise, because they know that if the person feel rewarded and they are not hungry, they will spend a lot of time in your store. So if we talk about next steps like introduction to core loop, starter offer, intro offer, the same thing we have in the IKEA. The first offer is at the store entrance. When we just step down to the store itself, we introduced with the product discounts. And first challenge rewards, the same. At the end of the customer journey in the IKEA, we have super cheap hot dogs. Yeah, and we actually love it. When I talk about other parts of the games, for example, store, this is the main actually part for the live service games, because we need to sell something to the user. So we have, considering the game, compare it with the e-commerce, we have a lot of features that's similar with e-commerce. It's not something that were invented only for games. We have a featured products, the same we have in Zalando, for example. We have special offers, the same we have in Zalando and Amazon, for example. We have seasonal collections, promotions, we have product 3D view, but we also have a lot of things that we actually don't use by some reason. I don't know why. For example, in Zalando, we have products videos like catwalks. You know that usually users like to see how the clothes will be on the people and how they look in the action. They have also installments, because this is kind of a moment when we can sell the user something that user can afford himself at the moment, but we don't have it in the game. There are a lot of features like related products, people also buy section, designers look, editorial picks, basket, favorites, and go on and go on. And the last one is the example of comparison between games and social platforms. It's also quite interesting because we actually take a lot of stuff from the social platforms. We have text chats, voice chats, we have reactions or likes for matches we played, we have friend requests, invite to lobbies, create clubs, and other stuff. But we also have a lot of things that we don't use. Again, like shares or reposts, like feeds, comments, save for later, direct messages, video chats, and go on. What else can we miss from researching the other products? We don't have feeds in our games. We don't have user events, like user can't create event by himself. Why don't we give this opportunity to the users? We don't have customizable profiles, maybe, but in mobile games. We don't have a Tinder mechanic. Why not using that? Because we actually can just provide the user possibility to swipe right or left the opponents that we can suggest for him. We don't have trial access. We just give him opportunity to buy something, but don't actually try to involve him in this. And content by subscription. I know that it's kind of a tricky question, but it also can live inside the games. So let's try to find out and recap. So why should we do that? Why should we look at the other products on the market that entertain the users? So the first point is attention. Attention is ruthless. So players today don't just play games. They scroll Instagram, shop on Amazon, they watch Netflix, chat on Discord. Your game isn't competing with the other games. It's competing with TikTok, because TikTok infinite dopamine loop, Reddit's sense of community, Spotify's seamless personalization is something that we actually can provide the user within our games, within our products. The second point is the e-commerce masters retention. We use a lot of techniques from the retail and e-commerce. And why don't we use a lot of other stuff? Amazon and IKEA don't just sell products, they create a seamless journey from discovery and purchase to engagement. So they also use a personalization, like the algorithms suggest you the products that you would like to buy. Why don't we use that? For example, frictionless UX in Amazon, like one-click purchases, or loyalty cards. Games can adapt these strategies. What if your daily logins weren't just a checklist, but a personalized shopping experience for content, challenges, and community engagement? The third point is social platforms define how people interact. And that's really kind of thing, because nowadays we don't call to each other. We don't come to somebody's home and just shout out hey Phil, come out, play with me. We just text to each other, and sometimes record the audio or video messages. But the audio and video messages are kind of also not a good manner. So Fortnite, for example, it's a great type of social platform, because it's not just a game, it's a social hub. And the Roblox as well, it's a creational economy. And why that? Because games integrate social behaviors from other platforms like Discord, Twitch, Twitter, WhatsApp, and they use it in the games, and they become the destination for the player. So ask yourself, does your game encourage sharing the content that you create? Do you provide the user the possibility to share this content? Do you provide the user to, somehow customize his experience? And I know that when we talk about it, it's very expensive for us, but we actually spend billions of money just to create live services. Why not to create tools instead? And ask yourself another question: can players engage without launching the game? I mean, throughout maybe mobile app companion app, or maybe some kind of social features that you can provide them through your website or something. I know that, I remember that Fortnite and Rocket League, they implemented this feature when you, after the match, can find your recorded match inside your app. And that's a great example of how you can, help people to share your content, how you can help people provide the, mechanics of selling your game to the others. And how does your live service create FOMO? Just like Instagram stories that disappears in 24 hours. This is something that, impresses me. I want to see the story that my friend actually shared within the Instagram. And I will come back to Instagram to find out how did he, spend his evening last day or something. And the last one is emotional UX. It's like IKEA effect. So under that, IKEA isn't just about selling furniture. It's about investment into the furniture. And why that? When you build your own furniture with your own hands, you actually communicate yourself with it. And you value it more because you build it yourself. I see that. I need to finish, so I will just quick things a little bit. So when we talk about that, about the UX, if players craft, customize, or, for example, shape the game world, their emotional attachments like skyrocket. And UGC is not just about content, it's about retention. Games like Minecraft and Animal Crossing, they have mastered this, but even in live service games, allowing players to invest, modify, and create actually can help you to redefine the engagement. And the last thing that I want to focus you on is that we need to think like experience designers, not just game designers, because we try to build experience within our product and not like just create some mechanics of graphics that can somehow impress the player. So I believe that's it. Here is my QR to LinkedIn. Please connect, follow, like, repost, and other stuff. I will be happy to connect and to speak about that. And also, I don't know that in Poland we have this Fat Thursday, so happy Fat Thursday today. And see you next time. Thank you very much.